In our highlight center, we're in the midst of week 10. We'll try to get you caught up. New Orleans against Pittsburgh. This one going on in Pittsburgh right now. The Steelers have just jumped out in front, 10-7 in that ball game on a 6-yard touchdown pass from Bradshaw to Swan. In that game, Franco Harris has eclipsed the 7,000-yard mark for career rushing in this, just his 7th season. Philadelphia against Green Bay. The Eagles trying to find the winning track once again against a 7-2 Packer club. Eagles out in front 7-3 in that ball game in the 3rd period. John Shara, a 3-yard run for the lone touchdown. New England against Buffalo. This one just broke at the half. New England out in front 7-3. Horace Ivory, a 19-yard run. We're going to go down to Mike Adamley right now, who's been charting that game. Mike, Buffalo got a turnover in the early going, but the Patriots really aren't playing up to their performance in the last 2 weeks.
It's hard to figure out the Patriots. Some weeks they play exceptional, and some weeks they're down a little bit. I think they're a little tired after scoring as many points as they did against the New York Jets last week, 55 to be exact. They've had some problems getting motivated today, and the Buffalo defense is part of the reason for that. They've stopped and intercepted Grogan a couple of times, and that's thwarted New England Patriots' effort. One of the turnovers that you were talking about, Bryant, we're going to watch right here in a 4th and 3 situation. Rusty Jackson back to punt. Stanley Morgan is the deep man for the Patriots 86, but he mishandles the ball. Finally, number 54, Randy McClanahan, picks it up. Looks like he's going in for an apparent touchdown, but the referee ruled it dead at the 20, and Buffalo had to settle for a field goal. Chuck Fairbanks, what a marvelous record he's piled up since he's been the Patriots coach. Horace Ivory, they call him super sub, but he'll be a starter from now on. He rambles 19 yards for the score, 7-3 at halftime. You got to wonder what kind of pep talk Fairbanks is giving the Patriots.
Yeah, but it must be nice to have the kind of talent where you can play poorly and still be out in front. The Lions are seeking their 3rd straight win. They're playing in Minnesota, and they're leading 7-3 on a Danielson, the blue touchdown pass. Fran Tarkenton has been injured and gone to the locker room, and Bob Lee is in at quarterback. The Giants are playing the Cardinals. The Cardinals seeking win number 2 of the year, consecutive wins, by the way. And they are out in front of that ball game 20-0 at the half. Jim Otis has 2 short touchdown runs. San Francisco against Atlanta. Steve Bartkowski got the start down there. It's Fred O'Connor's first as the 49ers coach, but O'Connor's on the losing end of a 7-3 score right now. We have a preliminary report that O.J. Simpson has been injured in that ball game. His shoulder has been injured. He has been taken out. Seattle against Chicago. It's 14-6 at the half, and oh, the Bears are misfiring. Mike Adamley is a former Bear, and Michael, I do not imagine you liked what you were watching.
If you've been watching this game, you'll know that the Bears' defense has been injury-riddled. They have trouble stopping anybody, and it's up to the Bears' offense to keep the defense off the field. They have not been able to do that so far. Jim Zorn, who's a thorn in almost every team's side because of his excellent running ability, here gets off the hook and scrambles 23 yards all the way down to the 4-yard line. Zorn, a very tough man to bring down. 2 plays later, Sherman Smith goes over from about the 1-foot line. We'll get a chance to watch that in just a second as we watch Mr. Zorn roll around. Here's Sherman Smith, 47. That puts the Seattle Seahawks on top 7-0. Bob Thomas had a chance to kick a field goal. He did to make it 7-3. And Zorn gets off the hook again. And Steve Largent just beat Virgil Livers. He's all alone in the end zone, and that made it 14-3. Bob Thomas came back and kicked another field goal. I would suspect that Neil Armstrong is telling his offense, hey, let's get the ball rolling, keep our defense off that field.
Okay, Mike. Oakland against Kansas City. This used to be the fiercest of all the AFC rivalries. It has tamed down a little bit, mainly because the Chiefs are the ones that have been tamed. There's no score in this ball game. It's early on. Mike Adamley's been following it. Michael, what do you have to show us?
Nothing, really. 0-0. I think it speaks for itself. The game is really just getting underway. Both teams are kind of feeling one another out like 2 prize fighters do.
Okay, and Cleveland-Houston. This one is also no score, so I'm not even going to go down here for that one either. That one just getting underway between a pair of 5 and 4 clubs in the AFC Central. You'll recall that when they met just a couple of weeks ago, Houston pulled it out in the late going on a rather controversial call. We've got a second half of football coming up for you from Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Seahawks lead 14-6. So let's go back to the ballpark.
At halftime, that's the score. Seattle 14, Chicago 6. 3 scores, game in the last 1 minute, 22 seconds of the half. Let's take a look at the first half figures, and Seattle dominates them as expected.
Well, I think what is indicative is 15 first downs to 7, and really 14 points are not as indicative as the offense for the Seahawks were in control of the whole first half. And I think it's the reason that a Walter Payton only gains 40 or 35 yards in the first half. He's only carried the ball about 6 times. He isn't really able to set up anything they can effectively take advantage of. Bob Avellini, when he did start throwing the ball, was very effective. However, they didn't throw it in situations that lead to a passer's effectiveness. You know, they're throwing it on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8. That's not the time you can be effective and sustain a drive. I think Seattle's lack of offense has hurt them as far as ball control is concerned throughout the first half. They're going to have to do something. Put it up and get these people excited.
John, last Sunday we saw Denver really put a defense on Jim Zorn. They had a controlled pass rush. They wouldn't let him go up the middle. They contained him from his sweeps outside, and they held him to 9 out of 29. I think his poorest day as a pro. He has bounced right back. Today, though, he's had 9 out of 12 in the first half for 137 yards.
Well, you know what I like about Zorn is last week, the coach kind of gave him an out. His hand was hurting, his shoulder was a little bit sore. After the game, they said, "What happened? Are you going to be all right?" He said, "I came out because I wasn't playing well." Now, the coach gave him a chance to say, "Yeah, I'll be okay." He's not that kind of a guy. To me, what makes Jim Zorn right now the top quarterback in football is at a very young age, he's taken responsibility for the group he's in charge of. He doesn't pass the buck. He comes out there, he can run. He's got all the abilities physically in the world, but he also has a good head on his shoulder. These guys buy Jim Zorn, and that's why they're scoring the points they are.
Every club that we've talked to, remember earlier in the year when we talked to Pittsburgh, a week before they played Seattle, and Joe Green, L.C. Greenwood said, "Hey, that kid over at Seattle is trouble. He's a pest, and he drives you nuts back there."
Well, Jack Lambert and Jack Ham both said we'd rather play anybody. Well, obviously, a quarterback that runs around gives a linebacker trouble. However, he does more than that. You know, he allows their offensive coaches, Rome, Mudd, McDonald, to implement things in their offense that take advantage of his abilities. And boy, if I'm a Steve Largent, I know I can get down the field and I can get open, I'm going to get hit. And that's why I can't say enough good about their group.
Over on the Bears side, they have to rally, or they're going to lose their 7th game in a row, which would be their longest losing streak in years. They started out the season so well, winning their first 3. They made the playoffs last year for the first time in 14 years, and everything really looked great for them. They've been in all these ball games, but they're losing them.
Well, this is a big game for them, and I'm sure they recognize it at halftime. They're close enough. They're within 8 points. They've got to get a break, and they can get back in the game, and it is a big game again for Chicago.
All right, we'll continue our coverage here, and we'll be back with the second half kickoff right after these messages.
This 1978 National Football League game is brought to you by Dodge Trucks and your Dodge dealer, who invites you to come in and see how Dodge is into trucking like America's into Jeeves. By Schlitz, beer makes it good. Schlitz makes it great. And by Sylvania, makers of Superset Color TV and a complete line of home entertainment products.
Let a little style in your life. Add a little life to your style.
Chrysler LeBaron for 1979. With Chrysler style, engineering, luxury, and options like genuine leather seating.
Let a little style in your life.
Surprisingly affordable, yet a Chrysler in every detail. Put a Chrysler LeBaron in your life for $79.
Add a little life to your Let a little style in your life.
Take any razor available in America. Any razor. Now there's an electric shaver that will shave as close or your money back. The Remington XLR. Remington can guarantee a close shave because only Remington has this remarkable 3-part system. The first head shaves close, the second closer. The unique intercept cutter is designed to shave longer hairs. The Remington XLR. It shaves as close as a blade or your money back.
International Falls, Minnesota. A car sits on a frozen lake. Through January, February, and March. Then, in April, it started. Thanks to a Die-Hard. The Die-Hard, sold only at Sears.
Neil Armstrong and the Bears on the left, Jack Patera, head coach of Seattle, on the right.
And I think we're going to see a new quarterback in Mike Phipps. Sometimes you can tell a guy's either warming up or he's warming up to get in the ball game. And he is not. He has been taking some snaps from Dan Neal, and it's my guess that coming out in the second half, they're going to go with Mike.
Individually, the leading ball carrier in the game, Sherm Smith, 46 yards for Seattle. Hunter had 28, picked up some tough yardage on third down plays. Zorn had 25 yards. Payton held at 24 yards in the first half, and Harper had 24. There's Avellini, the first-team quarterback. Phipps, the backup man on the right, and maybe Phipps, because he's really cranking it up.
And we can't put it on Avellini because there's a whole group of lethargic individual play, and the quarterback can be the effect of it. However, an insertion of Mike Phipps at this time, maybe something can get generated. It's really a pretty good move.
Leading pass receivers, McCullum and Largent have caught 3 each for Seattle. Payton and Latta have caught 2 each for Chicago. Zorn was 9 out of 12 first half, and Avellini 6 out of 15. Thomas will kick off with the wind at his back. Second half underway. Coming to out of the end zone. Touchback, Seattle's ball, first down on their 20. On first down, Seattle has averaged 7.5 yards a gain on first down. That's very important to come up second and 2.5, second and 3. Boy, you can really operate then. Chicago's averaged nearly 7 yards on first down, much better than they have all year. Last Sunday, both Seattle and Denver were outstanding on first down plays. Quarterback is Zorn. The running backs will be Sherm Smith and Tony Benjamin. There's Zorn's figures. And for the year, he's gone over 2,000 yards already. Running the option play out to Sherm Smith. Smith is belted down at the 21-yard line by Mike Hartenstein, the right end of the Bears.
And if you're a Chicago fan, this is a very big series. You can see they come out with a little intensity. If they can stuff Seattle's offense right now, get the ball back in good field position, they can get after it. I think the crowd will get after it with them, and they can go. If they don't, if they allow Seattle to make a sustained drive down the field, we could fall back into the same old first half pattern.
Bad news for Chicago Bear fans. The Bears middle linebacker, Tom Hicks, was injured in the first half. Will have ligament surgery on his knee tonight. Will be out the rest of the year. Largent, a little bit high for him. He'd gone down, curled back, started for the sideline, and it would have taken an exceptional catch to grab that one.
And right now, the wind is picked up severely. It's very difficult to throw the ball to the sidelines. If you're going to throw, it's going right down the field. The wind is either dead into your face or dead with you. Right now, the wind is against Seattle, and they've got to do something to get it out of the hole throughout this quarter.
And this is a big quarter for the Bears where they had that wind at the back to do something. Third down. 9 to go. 5 secondary backs on the field for the Bears. 3 wide receivers in for the Seahawks. The pass is complete. He was trying to hit Sam McCullum, 84. Big pressure there by Jim Osborne, the left tackle, number 68. 4th and 9, and the Seahawks must punt against the wind.
Little bit of miscue offensively in the line. Let Jim Osborne come free. No chance to develop the pattern.
Virgil Livers is the safety man for the Bears. Herman Weaver will do the kicking. There's Livers, and he's on his 45. 25-yard average in the first half for Weaver. That wind holds it up. Livers fields it right on the 45. Starts out. And is stopped just short of the 50 by Dave Brown, the cornerback. All right, let's take a timeout. The Bears fans on their feet, trying to urge the Bears on with the score, 14-6 Seattle.
Three unidentified 19-inch color TV pictures, each the best of its brand. Over 1,000 people saw them and picked the one with the best overall picture. They didn't pick America's biggest seller, Zenith, or the second biggest, RCA. Over 60% picked the 19-inch Sylvania Superset. Over 60%. We're not the biggest, but a lot of people think we've got the best picture. The Sylvania Superset.
For over 30 years, people have been buying Poland chainsaws.
Wouldn't use anything but a Poland.
Poland, Ed. Poland.
And for over 30 years, they've been mispronouncing our name.
Poland.
So we'd like to remind you that our name is Poland. And for a tough, dependable chainsaw, Poland is the only name you need to remember, no matter how you pronounce it.
Poland.
Shay goes undercover to break up a babies for sale racket.
I paid $1,500 when the girl shows up pregnant.
David Cassidy, Man Undercover, Thursday on NBC.
Mike Phipps in for his first play of the season as replaced Bob Avellini at quarterback. The Bears now are trying to get something moving with a new man at the throttle. Bears ball first down on their 49-yard line. That's Peyton. Peyton is stopped at the 49 of Seattle for a 2-yard gain.
All right, you can see they're pumping back in the huddle. The first half, they kind of drag back in there. This is the sort of adrenaline that you need, but you have to be effective when you have it. And they've got to do something. If I'm a Mike Phipps, and I don't think he's calling the plays, but if I'm a Mike Phipps, I'm going to get that ball up in the air and get somebody going.
Second down 8, Bears on the Seattle 49. Harper, Peyton in the backfield. Behind the new quarterback, Mike Phipps. Phipps for his first pass of the season. And it's complete to Harper. Harper's run out of bounds, first down on the Seattle 32. The Chicago fans coming to their feet.
And you can say that again. All Chicago fans finally got off sitting on their hands. They do care in Chicago. It's a great sports city. They've been a little fed up with the lack of offense their team has been producing. Somebody like this gets in, kind of induces a throttle to the whole group. You can see the people in the huddle. They're clapping their hands. They're saying, let's get after it, guys. Each guy has to do his job.
17-yard pass from Phipps to Roland Harper. Avellini now on the phone. Quick handoff. Harper stopped at the 30-yard line. 2-yard advance. Second down 8. Keith Butler, the rookie right linebacker, made the stop. Up front for Seattle, it's Price, Boyd, Sandifer, Gregory. Green, Beeson, and Butler, the linebacker. Webster, left corner. Brown, right corner. Beeman and Harris are the safety men. That defense has held Chicago without a touchdown so far. Second down and 8 to go. Going out of the eye. Walter Payton has it. Payton at the 30, puts a move on, and a slam down on the 26 by Ernie Price, the very active left end.
This looks like a layoff. However, it's a specifically designed play. You send Payton out on what looks like a delay pattern. However, he's got some guards and tackles coming out underneath him. The play actually looked better than it ended up. Reeve Story coming out doing his job.
John, that Price is all over the field.
You bet. He's a good acquisition. They've got 2 of them. He and Bill Gregory both doing a job.
Third down 4. 26-yard line of Seattle. Chicago in possession early in the third period. They're not going anywhere in that one. Maybe a yard or 2 as they try and ram it up the middle. And it appears Harper is short of a first down.
If he is short, he's just about a foot short.
Well, it may be close for a measurement. No, they're going to call it fourth and a foot. Seahawks are sending in some big boys.
Oh, no, they're going for the field goal, Kurt.
Bob Thomas comes on the field. He kicked 2 in the first half. He missed 1. Penalties on the play gave him a second chance. He now has kicked 14 out of 15 this year. Here's the kick, and it is up, and it is good. A 40-yard field goal by Bob Thomas. Gives him 15 out of 16. Timeout. We'll be back with a score now. Seattle 14, Chicago 9.
We found the sock. You find the foot that fits it.
We'll get him. Smell, Duke. Yeah, come on.
There's something remarkable about Burlington socks.
Well, he's just fun in here.
A special treatment called BioGuard helps control sock odor. That goes for Burlington dress socks, casual socks, sports socks. Just look for the green stripe on the toe that says they've been treated with BioGuard. The odor controller lasts for the life of the sock.
I don't know what happened to you.
Only Burlington makes it.
Duke, where'd you go? Duke.
Are we gonna be the bowling champs tonight? Yeah. Are we having a problem? Yeah.
Did I forget my Prestone?
Yeah.
Take out the O, put in the 2. Put in the Prestone 2.
Protect against freeze-ups and corrosion. Take out old, weak antifreeze and put in America's most trusted antifreeze, Prestone 2.
Take out the O, put in the 2. Put in the Prestone 2.
And when you flush your cooling system, use Prestone Super Flush.
The game-breaking plays, the hottest new craze, all pros in action, the latest in fashion, straight-talking views and late-breaking news. The pregame show that has it all, NFL 78.
This man had the chance to break Lou Groza's all-time percentage record for successful field goals. He now has 94% success this year. We'll talk about it in a minute. Crawford with the ball out to the 15, trying to get that blocking 20, and is taken down on his 28 by Mike Spivey. Lou Groza in 1953 kicked 23 out of 26, 88.5%. Thomas this year now has kicked 15 out of 16, 94% success. He's hit 3 today, 3 out of 3 today. All right, Seattle did not move the ball last time. They have it on their own 28-yard line with a first down. Running out of the I formation. Smith. Smith, the leading ball carrier in the game, is brought down on his 32-yard line by Mike Hartenstein. Smith has 50 yards and 14 carries. Doesn't look like he's doing much. 3, 4, 5 yards at a clip out there.
You can see the offense for Chicago's trying to get with it. They've got their offensive coach down on the ground, all the men huddling around him. There are a few things they can exploit, and they're doing it on the ground.
Here's Al Hunter. Hunter on a cutback. He has a first down, just short of his 40-yard line. Jerry Muckensturm and Gary Campbell, the 2 linebackers pinching there.
Okay, their tendencies are pretty clear. When Hunter's in the ball game, there's a good chance he's going to carry the ball. Benjamin will do the blocking. Sherman Smith has done both. Excellent block at the point of attack by Sherman Smith. Hunter cuts behind him, and they pick up a first.
They're just short of the 40, so advancing to the 40-yard line on official NFL statistic keeping. Play action pass. Thorne is stopped. That's the 4th sack for Chicago in the game. Seattle has recorded 1 dump on the quarterback.
And the other 3 sacks were clearly good defensive line play. That one I think you have to credit to the secondary. He had plenty of time to throw it. The men were all well covered. That's one of the few times today that all of his people have been covered.
There's the man that came in, moved the Bears into field goal range, Mike Phipps. 2nd down, 13. Osborne and Page were the 2 defensive players who sacked quarterback Jim Zorn. 2nd and 13. Hand off to Smith. Smith breaks it, still going. Ooh. Boy, that is a great play where Zorn is starting back as if to pass. Smith holds deep and then takes it and looks for his opening.
All right, how does it happen? Number one, they have to contain Zorn when he rolls out. When they do so, you can see Hartenstein going to the outside. It leaves a hole. Hands the ball off to Smith. He's made most of his yardage today on a little delayed sprint draw.
And he now, John, has 70 yards rushing in this game. That was a 20-yard carry for him. Seattle on the Chicago 43, first down. 14-9, Seattle ahead. 8:34 to go in the 3rd period. Zorn will put it up. It is off their hands of Rabel. It was broken up by Fensick.
Rabel's a little bit concerned, and Winford Gage got on before the ball got to him. However, it was touched by Fensick before Gaines made his move. So it was very clearly not interference. A good decision by the umpire not to call interference. Fensick touches it. Gaines lets Rabel know he's around. Rabel doesn't like it too much, but it's still 2nd and 10.
Second down as the Seahawks go into set position. There he is. He just skipped out of bounds. Sam McCullum. McCullum's out on the 31-yard line of Seattle. Winford Gaines, the left cornerback from Cincinnati, drove him out. First-year player. Picked up as a free agent from the Pittsburgh club. And he had tough luck with Pittsburgh in 76, 77. He was on the injured reserve list both years.
Gaines has played pretty well for him, Kurt. Right now, good cornerbacks are going to give the receivers a little bit to the outside because it's a very difficult throw in this wind. Zorn made a perfect one that time.
Sam McCullum, ex-Montana State, has caught 4 from Bozeman, Montana. Fake. The throw, wide open, Largent, touchdown.
Now that is an unbelievable move by the receiver. Zorn forced the play. Largent and he communicated perfectly. As he got behind the defender, he still had to stay in bounds. And to do so, he was really walking the old tightrope. And see if we can catch it. Now, this is what Zorn creates. He fakes that sprint draw, keeps the pass rush off him. As he throws the ball to Largent, let's take a look at the way he keeps himself in bounds. That's what you call a top-notch receiver.
Well, that's 2 for him today. Zorn to Largent, Steve Largent, University of Tulsa. One of 26 yards, the other of 31 yards. Herrera's kick, Zorn holding. And the kick is up and good. And every time you score on Seattle, Zorn quickly brings them right back. So, we'll take a timeout. It is Seattle 21, Chicago 9.
From Miami to Oakland, they're coming to play.
Beer makes it
anybody
good.
need a Schlitz?
There's no debate.
Beer makes it good. Schlitz makes it great.
11 million times a day, America reaches for a Schlitz.
Sorry I'm late. Who cares? This might be the best game we ever missed. When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer. Schlitz makes it great.
40 years ago, these four-wheel drive Dodge trucks helped America do a really tough job. This year, the Dodge four-wheel drive Power Wagons will do more tough jobs than ever with standard full-time four-wheel drive that costs extra on Ford and Chevy. And the W150 has the lowest price of any short-wheelbase four-wheel drive pickup built in America. Dodge Power Wagons doing America's toughest jobs for more than 40 years.
Dodge is into trucking like America's into jeans.
Hey, that's my Dodge.
That's the 3rd drive in the game for Seattle, over 70 yards. That was 7 plays, capped off by the pass. What they're doing in this game is trading touchdowns for field goals.
3-3, but you don't get the same points.
Kicking off will be Herrera. Zorn has now completed 11 out of 17 for 179 yards, and he passed very little in the first period. Baschnagel is now the deep man, number 84, replacing Gaines as the kickoff returner. Art Best, John Skabinski there. John's father, Joe, used to play in the National Football League. It's a squibbler rolling around. Baschnagel scoops it up on his 16. Oh, is he upended there? And he was hit there by number 56 of the Seahawks, Sammy Green, the linebacker.
Hey, you see a guy coming on down there. Sammy Green was a second draft choice originally for him. He still plays a lot of linebacker. When you have a man that can break up a wedge, get a piece of the ball carrier, you've got yourself something.
The Bears ball under 36. Remember, they have the wind at their back this period. In the 4th quarter, they'll be going against the wind. Zorn's touchdown passes have both been against the wind. The larger hasn't seemed to affect him. Mike Phipps throws it out right there. Twisting away is Scott. And Scott is out of bounds at a first down on the 38-yard line of
the pattern. We haven't seen an awful lot of him today. We know he's an outstanding receiver. He cleared out for Scott. Scott caught the ball, was amazed that there weren't more people around him, made a pretty good move, got to the outside, and they're back on the move. That's 3 for 3 for Phipps. Here we go. Scott's coming inside, but all the traffic has been cleared out by Golden.
Scott and Richards line up on the far side in the slot. Avellini on the phone. He's been benched in the second half. Peyton, that power sweep has not been as effective for him this year as last year. He's a marked man every time he touches that ball, and those quarterbacks are coming up and forcing him hard.
He's been a marked man since he's been here, but it hasn't stopped him much.
Let's take a look at this score. The Steelers have rallied on a Bradshaw to Swan touchdown and a Jarilla field goal. 13-7, Pittsburgh leading New Orleans late in the third quarter.
And Philadelphia added a field goal to their lead against Green Bay. And in the third quarter with 6 minutes left, it's 10-3 Philly.
Phipps again to the outside. First down. Roland Harper on a neat move. Almost a basketball pivot after he caught it.
It seems to be so easy when they decide to go on first down upstairs, but you wonder why they ever stop. Again, they're effective. Good run after he gets the ball. Roland Harper's a man that can do an awful lot with it. He can help your offense in a number of ways. Chicago's on the move. They don't want to settle for any field goal this trip.
We have a Seattle man down. Mike Phipps. 4 out of 4. First time he's appeared in a game this year. We'll be right back with the score. Seattle 21, Chicago 9.
Now try and forget. One of America's largest life insurance companies, Lincoln National Life. We're easy to remember.
Wherever you may roam, you'll find us near your home.
Oh, hi, it's me again, hosting and tasting more posters. This time it's for the first annual Delco battery sale. AC Delco is making it possible for you to buy a Freedom battery at a special sale price.
Thanks, Delco.
Wherever you see this poster, look for it in your neighborhood for a great price on a battery you can trust. Thanks, Delco. Well, you'll be saying thanks, Delco, too.
Hi, I'm Coach Sam Rutigliano of the Cleveland Browns, and I hope you'll do it in the American way on Election Day. Go to the polls Tuesday and vote for the candidate of your choice.
Preceding message brought to you the public service by the National Football League and NBC. Sandiford was injured, the starting right tackle, Steve Niehaus. From Notre Dame in his third year, the first player drafted by the Seahawks has gone in at right tackle. He came in against Denver and was outstanding last Sunday, especially on the pass rush. All right, the Bears are moving. They're on the Seattle 26-yard line with a first down. Mike Phipps has completed 4 for 4 since he started here in the second half. There he is. That is Richards, and it is intercepted by 22, Dave Brown, the right cornerback of Michigan.
It looked as if Dave Brown was in the Chicago Bear huddle. They played a little double zone. As Golden Richard went down the field, he broke out. He didn't quite get far enough behind Brown. The pattern was predetermined. Phipps did not think Brown would be in the area. He was. He came up with the ball, and that's a big turnover for Seattle.
That's the first turnover for the Bears in the game. Seattle's had only one. Brown kept both those feet in bounds before he went out. The Seahawks ball on their 5-yard line with a first down. They're ahead 21-9. 6:45 remaining in the third period.
I think they're coming.
There's Smith. He's held to a yard gain. That was Dan Reeves that forced that play. Don Reeves, the middle linebacker, playing in place of Tom Hicks, who we're sorry to report injured his knee in the first half, the starting middle linebacker, and will be operated on for knee ligament injury tonight. The Sperry NFL reports will be following this game, time permitting. Second down, 9. It'll definitely be on. Sandifer has a back bruise. We don't know whether he's back or not. That's Al Hunter fighting and clawing his way to the 11-yard line. Jim Osborne, aided by Gary Fensick. Now they have a 3rd and 4. They just want to get out of here and get some breathing room. Maybe get a first down and try and keep something moving.
No maybe about it, Kurt. They know they would like to get one and need one. They're going against the wind. They don't want to give the ball up.
That wind is getting stronger. It's really blowing now. The flag on the goalpost across the way. Look at them. Their conversions on 3rd down has been outstanding. Smith, they don't get it that time. They'll have to punt. Mike Hartenstein. And number 68, Jim Osborne. Hartenstein forced to play in, and then Osborne took him. But the wind, there's a flag across the far corner from us, right along the Seattle end zone, that shows you how that wind is blowing up a little bit more. You can really see it. There it is. That's the flagpole. Up.
Well, we got the pole.
And no wind. There it is. Kick. Livers fumbles the ball. Big scramble for it. It appears the Bears recovered. The Bears do recover it. Virgil Livers handling that low kick against the wind. A 26-yard boot.
Okay, he was very anxious. It's a low punt. He knows if he gets it, he can really put him in good field position. Got started a little before he caught the ball. Had to run up the back of Spivey's legs, and Spivey's lucky he got out without getting hurt.
Horace Ivory has scored another touchdown for New England, running 5 yards. He ran for 19 in the first half, and New England leads Buffalo 14-3. New England has won 6 in a row. Bears ball, Seattle 38. Quick pitch pattern. He stopped on the 30-yard line. I thought he might break that one for a long way. Brown nipped him from behind because he had a streak right down the field.
You had good reason to believe it. The flow of the play, which was very well conceived, little fake running play on first down. When he came back outside, he had nothing but to get by Brown. Brown got rid of a blocker and made a good play.
We're approaching 4 minutes remaining in the 3rd period. Seattle leading 21-9. Second down 2 for the Bears on the Seattle 30-yard line. Walter Payton. Boy, he meets some opposition there at the 29-yard line. How about those Cardinals, John?
Well, St. Louis seems to have come alive. They're now putting it to the Giants 20-3 in the 3rd quarter.
And here's another score. New Orleans has rallied. Tony Galbraith ran 5 yards for a score early in the 4th period. New Orleans 14, Pittsburgh 13.
That's the 3rd good team they're having a go at. I think if New Orleans wins, that'll be more wins than they've ever had in one season.
3rd down, a yard to go. Oh, they're jammed up, aren't they, at that line of scrimmage? Harper is the first down. And a lot more. And it was Cornell Webster, the left cornerback, who stopped him.
That's a good play at the point of attack. Both Reevy Story and Dennis Lick. Dennis Lick just runs Ernie Price all the way down the line of scrimmage, creating a real big hole for Harper. He takes advantage of it. Chicago keeps the ball.
Bears on the 22-yard line. That's their first 3rd down conversion in the game. Chicago on the Seattle 22. Seattle ahead 21-9. Phipps' toss just broken up by Dave Brown, intended for James Scott.
Hey, you leave Dave Brown out there. No wonder too many people don't try to pick on him. He looks like a shadow.
Second down, 10. Oakland has scored 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. They lead Kansas City 7-0. Stabler to Raymond Chester for 4 yards. Oakland, Denver's leading this division. 6 wins, 3 losses. Oakland has won 5 and lost 4. Seattle has won 4 and lost 5. Tightly bunched in the Western Division of the American Conference. Harper dragged down by 77. Bill Gregory, the right end.
Hey, it's a tough trick when you try to call a draw play and you've got a safety blitz called against you. That time they had every hole plugged up. Didn't have enough blockers to make the play effective.
That safety man was on the move just before the snap. Phipps 5 out of 7 in the third period. Third down, 9 to go. Cavallini wide open. Touchdown, Chicago. Harper's in. The Bears score.
And that's what you call heads-up play. Phipps knows it's a blitz. They came again. They're trying to get to the quarterback. He's been having it his way when they don't send extra people. They gambled. Phipps picked it up, hit Harper, and Seattle lost, and Chicago's back in the ball game.
21-yard touchdown pass. Phipps to Harper. Harper has scored his 7th touchdown of the season.
Think he doesn't want to get in there pretty bad?
Oh. Thomas for the extra point. Good. They've got one going now. 1 minute, 38 seconds to play in the third quarter. The Bears have just scored their first touchdown of the game. They've done it with the wind containing Seattle in their own territory, taking advantage of field position, and they just marched in 38 yards after a short Seattle punt. Well, I see your old boys aren't doing too well today.
Well, they've got Steve Bartkowski back, and he seems to be coming on pretty well. He's leading Atlanta. They're having a real good year trying to get their 6th win. They lead San Francisco in the third quarter, 14-3. (21-16). Score at the half, 14-6 in favor of Seattle. Crawford and Hunter are back deep. Bob Thomas will boot it. The breeze, which I think must be around 15, 20 miles an hour now. You can bet with any break, this baby's going deep in the end zone.
Weiss is blowing the ball off the tee.
Might get in there without him kicking it.
Even though the Seahawks have scored this quarter, that win will be a definite advantage to them in the fourth quarter. Somebody better get over there.
They could send somebody up to hold it.
Goalposts are waving in the wind. Look at them.
I'm amazed that both quarterbacks have thrown the ball as effectively as they have in this win.
Now they boot it. Crawford coming up the sideline. 20, 25 to his 27. Rufus Crawford, the rookie. Remember, next Sunday, NFL 78, a half hour before the game in your area, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Denver's at Cleveland. Houston's at New England. Miami's at Buffalo. And the Jets are at Philadelphia. At 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Baltimore at Seattle, Kansas City at San Diego. Consult your local listings for the game and time in your area. Seattle's ball on their 27 with a first down. Larkin in motion. Jerm Smith turns the corner. Right up. Hey, look at this. He's still in bounds. He's going to be taken and pushed out of bounds. And he was in bounds all the way. He did not step out of bounds. Leiber saved the touchdown.
Okay, that's amazing when you can come back after a team that's playing at home gets back in the game. But let's watch Tom Lynch. Here he pulls, number 61. This is the way backs are sprung. He goes up, he takes the right man. If he hadn't gotten Buffon, that play is nothing but a 4-yard gain. He gets Buffon, takes out all the angles, the pursuit can't catch him, and Virgil Livers has to come over from the clear on the other side of the field to finally push Smith out of bounds.
A 67-yard run. Watch him on the sideline. This is remarkable footwork by this back that really has impressed us. Look at him there. He stayed right in bounds, comes on up, and he can move it. He can get you yardage inside or outside. First down. Goal to go. They're on the 6-yard line of the Bears. Sargent's in motion. Zorn scrambling. Mayo throw. And it's no good. Don Reeves batted it down.
Zorn started to take the hole, and he knew that was going to be a collision course. There was really nowhere for him to get down and hide because it was going to be sayonara for his act. So he just threw it into the group. He had a receiver, but I think more intention was put on getting that ball away and get back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 6.
What a day Sherm Smith has had. 18 carries for 141 yards. 2nd down, 6 to go for a Seattle touchdown. They're leading 21-16. There goes Smith. And is he over or not? No signals up. He is.
Over there.
There it goes. They just popped it up. Touchdown for Sherm Smith.
That's only appropriate. He just got through running the longest run from scrimmage any Seattle Seahawk has ever made. He polishes it off on 2nd and 6 with a 6-yard touchdown run. Good block by John Yarno. They give him some room. August is helping. Newton pushes people out of there, and they score 6.
This young Seattle team is remarkable as you look at it again. Every time the Bears have scored, Seattle bounces right back and takes it for long marches, sometimes grinding, other times in just a few plays, explosive. The kick by Herrera. Kick is good. And they score again with 1:03 to go in the 3rd period. Chuck Foreman had just run, there's the score, 48-16. And Chuck Foreman had just run a yard for a touchdown. Minnesota leading the Lions 17-7. The Vikings looked like they were on their way down in those standings, and they've really bounced back, John, the last 3 weeks.
Well, and give credit to Fran Tarkington. He has come back. There aren't many guys at 38 years old that can still do the things he can still do.
There's Tom Hicks, who knows that he has to undergo surgery tonight. These knee conditions, the sooner you get to them, the better. They like to operate now just as quickly as they can. He'll have knee ligament surgery tonight here in Chicago. He's not too happy, and can't blame him. We send him best of luck and hope he has a complete recovery, and he'll be back next year with the Bears in that middle linebacking spot.
When we get that kind of a break, it's always an if, and it's a football player's bad dream.
Herrera will kick off. And he's booting against the wind. Let's go down to the other end of the field. You'll see how this wind is blowing. Bashnagel is on the 10-yard line, or about the 8 now. Normally, he'd be back at the goal line. He just figures Herrera will be 10 yards short with this kickoff.
At least.
And Seattle has that win with a lead in the 4th period. Squibbler. It's taken by John Skabinski, number 30, rookie.
He made a good play to get to that ball because that was an excellent kick by Herrera. He can do a lot with that football, kicking off. They do a lot of tricky things. They gave themselves a chance to recover that kickoff. Skabinski made a top play.
The Bears have scored 2 of the 3 times they've had the ball in the 3rd quarter, led by their new quarterback, Mike Phipps. Field goal by Thomas, touchdown pass to Harper. And then they had another drive going, and Dave Brown picked off a Mike Phipps pass. Phipps tosses it to Walter Payton at the 40. Payton at the 45. Goes down just short of the 50, but he had the first down. Ernie Price was the man that nailed him.
A very well conceived play, a little play action pass. They like to run the ball wide on the switch. He fakes the ball to Payton. However, the flow is coming away to the right side. He looks to the left. Payton just slips in behind the linebacker who's left. They pick up a good gain and a first down.
Ashney goes in as a wide receiver. Scott is out. 18 seconds. Phipps to the sideline. Fleet at the 44-yard line of Seattle to Greg Latta, 88, the tight end. And he was wrapped up by Autry Beeman, the strong safety, who leads Seattle in interceptions this year, number 27 with 4. And there is the gun ending the third quarter. And now Seattle will take over a strong wind at their back with the score 28-16 Seattle.
Dawn launch, Sea of Japan. See a recruiter or call toll-free. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
From South Carolina to North Dakota, they know what makes a state fair a great fair.
Beer makes it good.
It's just one Schlitz.
There's no debate.
Nothing else comes near.
Beer makes it good.
When you're out of Schlitz.
Schlitz makes it great.
You're out of beer.
Nobody makes it like Schlitz. Every drop chill lagered for quality. 11 million times a day, America reaches for a Schlitz. Because since 1849, Schlitz makes it great.
So when it comes to beer, why make it good? Schlitz makes it like no other good. Schlitz makes it great.
Many things go into the making of an Olympic champion. It takes natural talent, hours and hours of practice, and a burning desire to be the best. But there's one other element that can't be overlooked: money. The cost of preparing a team for the Olympics is staggering, and we need your help. Because America doesn't send athletes to the Olympics, Americans do. Send your contribution to U.S. Olympic Committee, Box 1980C, Cathedral Station, Boston. For $25 or more, you'll receive this Olympic medallion. This message furnished by the U.S. Olympic Committee and NBC.
Going into the fourth quarter, those are the stats unofficially for the first three periods. This is Kurt Gowdy and John Brody. It's 28-16 Seattle. The Bears have the ball. Second down and a long 2 to go on the 44-yard line of the Seahawks. What a lunge that was.
It's pretty hard to make those 3-yard gains on lunges, but it was all stacked up in the middle of the pack. Walter Payton does what he's done so often, jumps all the way over the stack, picks up a first down, and Chicago's still on the move. Take a look at Bill Gregory. He's got a slip block on him.
Bears ball, first down, Seattle 40. Coming up fast that time was Cornell Webster, and he had only one eye to intercept the ball. It was intended for James Scott. He timed it just right. Cleveland, first quarter, leading Houston 7-0. Brian Sipe ran 2 yards for the score, the quarterback.
It's going to be very difficult to throw against the wind. However, they have no choice.
Second down 10. That one pops out of the hands at the 35-yard line. Walter Payton, who'd run down, curl back, and then was going to wait for it and make his move.
Well, he had to put a little zip on it to get it in there. There were 3 defenders covering very well Payton's move. Phipps did put it in there. Payton will usually come up with that ball.
Third down and 10. We had 24 points scored in the third quarter. You might say it was a bit active. just opened the fourth quarter here at Soldier Field, Chicago. 3rd and 10 for the Bears. Deep sideline, way over the head of Golden Richards, 83. Now the Bears have a 4th and 10.
We're going to take a look as Ted Nathanson, our producer, George Finkel, another producer down there. These boys are giving us a wide angle. You can see Phipps had to get rid of the ball. There was nowhere he could throw it. This wasn't a pass that he was trying to hit a receiver. He was throwing it out of the ballpark. You can see why. They were covered.
Parsons to punt. Crawford is deep. He's trying to hang it up there. Fair catch. Crawford goes down on his 16-yard line. That's where the Seahawks will take it over. Maybe they'll move it up a yard or two. All right, we'll be back. Here's a timeout. And the score, Seattle 28, Chicago 16.
Owens Corning built this glass house so you can see all the places insulation can save money, new home or old. Your attic. In severe climates, you may need insulating power up to R38, a foot of pink Owens Corning fiberglass. Another place to insulate. Floors over unheated garages or crawl spaces, and walls exposed to cold or heat. Want to know about insulation? Ask the experts. Ask Owens Corning.
Think of all the stereo receivers out there, all the sophisticated electronics, all the heavy price tags. Not one of these receivers has all the features found in JCPenney's remarkable MCS Series 75-watt receiver. Features like a graphic equalizer with LED readouts, an FM multipath deviation meter, an LED signal strength meter. JCPenney's MCS Series 75-watt receiver. Think of it.
Nobody offers Super Saver discount fares to so much of this land as United. United built the largest airline in the free world around you.
Old Disco John, huh?
Isn't he cute?
That's Rocky. 17-yard line of Seattle. Their ball. First down. They have a strong wind now behind them and a little over 14 minutes to play. Those are Zorn figures. Outstanding day for the third-year quarterback. He's in trouble. And he is tackled at the half-yard line. No safety.
What they ruled, Kurt, is that his attempt, he kind of gave up at the half-yard line, tried to stay. They carried his momentum into the end zone. It was a very good call.
They had a blitz on. Bruce Herron, the left linebacker. Alan Page. Page has been great today getting to the passer.
Well, Page has been great a lot of days. And that's his forte, getting to the passer. This time he gets a good deal of help from Reeves, who gets in there quick. You see Zorn trying to stand up, but he's got no case.
It's on the 1-yard line. That's 5 sacks for the Bears today.
That was Bruce Herron. I said it was Reeves.
Second down, 26 yards to go. Seattle trying to hold on to a 12-point lead. Zorn just throws it away that time. He was in trouble back there again with a strong pass rush.
It's amazing what you can get away with if you're alert enough to take advantage of the opportunities. There was a big space in the middle of the field, and Zorn was aiming for one of those stripes.
Now that looked like, you know, deliberately grounding the forward pass. That used to be the rule if there was nobody there. But the only rule now is if you pass to prevent losing yardage, it's intentionally grounded.
Well, what would you say that was?
Bradshaw to Blyer, 24 yards. Steelers lead New Orleans 2014. A minute 51 to go in that game. Steelers have lost only one game all year. Third down. Ooh, they upset Al Hunter, and now they'll have to punt out of their end zone. That was Don Reeves that nipped him, number 57. This is where the wind, if he gets us away, the wind is going to play such a big factor. If he were back on the other end of the field, he'd be lucky to get off a 25, 30-yard punt. Now if he can get one up high, he may hoist it out of here. And in punt formation is Herman Weaver. The 45-yard line, Virgil Livers. He doesn't have much room. He can't step on that back line. They go after him. He gets it out. Beautiful kick. Beauty to the 46 of the Bears. Livers has it. They're going down after him. And they nail him. Great coverage on that. They were running him backwards. He lost ground as he went backwards. He lost about 10 yards. 54-yard punt. We'll be back. Bears in their own territory with the score 28-16, Seattle.
It's a big, shiny machine. Dodge makes it. One of 28 pickup truck models for 1979, including roomy club cabs, even roomier crew cabs, and four-wheel drive power wagons that have an urge to play. Dodge makes pickups that help build houses and carry houses, and sometimes Dodge makes the day.
Dodge is into trucking, like America's into chicken.
That's my Dodge.
And that's my Dodge.
From South Carolina to North Dakota, they know what makes a state fair a great fair.
Beer makes it good.
Beer's just one Schlitz.
There's no debate.
Nothing else comes near.
Beer makes it good.
When you're out of Schlitz.
Schlitz makes it great.
You're out of beer.
11 million times a day, America reaches for a Schlitz. Every drop chill lagered for quality since 1849.
Schlitz makes it like no other could. Schlitz makes it great.
A young scientist travels 6,000 years into the future to save the woman he loves in an all-new version of H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. Tonight on NBC.
John Brody just shook his head. Bubba Dean ran 1 yard for a score. Atlanta leads San Francisco's 49ers 21-3, 8:51 to go. Right after this game, the Sperry NFL report will have all the scores and highlights of what's happening today in the National Football League. Bears ball on their 36th first down. Phipps flares it out to Harper. Harper is safe. Out to the 40, 41. Boy, this Harper's a solid back, John.
That's a tough way to pick up 4 or 5 yards. I also think, he's an outstanding receiver, a top blocker. He complements Peyton so well, and yet their offensive production is limited. They've got a fine offensive line. I'm not sure they utilize this man enough either.
He's caught 4 today for 51 yards, including 1 for a touchdown. Scott is out. Bashnagel is in as a wide receiver. 28-16 Seattle. 12 minutes remaining. There goes Peyton. 40, 45, first down. He picked up some extra yardage with that nimble little skip step and is out on the 49-yard line of Seattle.
He is one of those unique fellas that when he gets man-to-man on a cornerback, he gives you nothing to hit. That time Dave Brown was in perfect position, but he was aiming at all knees and shoulders.
Yards rushing have been way one-sided in this game. The Bears, we'll have to add them up. I can't add. Joe, you have it. First down. That's Peyton going to the 45 of Seattle. And he was met there by Dennis Boyd, the left tackle, 68.
Good offensive surge, Kurt, by Noah Jackson and Dan Neal. They're now picking up 4, 5, 6 yards with every running play. They're mixing things up, and their offense really looks like it can do something.
84 yards rushing for the Bears, 213 for Seattle. 67 on one crack by Sheriff Smith. Peyton again. First down for Walter Payton to the 38-yard line of the Seattle Seahawks. Butler was a man that stopped him.
When you get an offensive line pumped up, it sure makes things easier. Dennis Slick, outstanding for a long time as an offensive tackle. Number 70 in the circle. He cuts off Green, keeps him from making the tackle. Peyton picks up a first down, and they're on the move.
38-yard line. Harper, more room, and there chipping away now. 5, 6, 7 yards of drive. Keith Butler again made the stop.
Looking at Doug Long, the fellow that got injured on that punt play. It was good for about 64 yards. Really got Seattle out of a hole. He's a kid from Whitworth College up in Spokane. They don't miss many people up in the Northwest. They don't let them get out of the state.
Second down, 4. Chicago on the Seattle 32. Harper's a lone setback. He has the ball. And he's close to a first down. No fancy stuff there, was there? Godfrey, Gregory, and Boyd.
Here we go again, the circle. This time it's around number 65, Noah Jackson. Gets pretty good position on Terry Beeson. Moves him back off the point of attack, and they pick up about 3. They've got 3rd and a foot.
They're on the 29-yard line of the Seattle Seahawks. 3rd down. Oh, maybe a half yard. Latta and Cobb, 2 tight ends are in. Flag goes down. Flag is down on that play. And it's against Seattle. They don't have a first down. Phipps carried on the street. The clock has stopped. 9 minutes, 28 seconds to play. Jim Zorn. Number 66 is Bill Sandifer, the right tackle from UCLA. It is now on the 24-yard line of Seattle.
This is the time, Kurt, where if they have a good play just inside the 25-yard line and they can predict the defense that Seattle will be in, they could really employ it on first down with a play-action pass, something down the field.
Bears have had only 2 penalties as you saw today. First down. Bears trailing 28-16. Big hole. Walter Payton charges through it. And they're now taking over the charge in that scrimmage line. They're moving Seattle back.
They are winning the game at the line of scrimmage. Walter Payton's getting an opportunity to do the things he does best. Carry that ball past the line of scrimmage. He picks up about 9 yards, and second one on the 15, 16.
The leading ball carrier in the National Conference had a slow first half, but now he has 64 yards total in the game. Sherm Smith, the leading ball carrier, with 147 yards. Harper inside the 15. Roland Harper of Louisiana Tech. 4th-year player. This backfield was made in the draft of 75. Payton, Harper drafted. Latta, Greg Latta, most of these players forming the nucleus of the Bears.
A lot of good people, and they're threatening to put the highest point production on the board that they've had all year.
Bears ball on the Seahawk 14-yard line with a first down. 8.5 minutes to play. 28-16 in favor of Seattle. 3 Bear field goals and a touchdown. Seattle has scored 4 touchdowns. 2 passes by Zorn to Largent. The cutback by Harper, and again they surge forward for another nice pickup. Ernie Price on the stop.
No need to put the ball in the air. Taking a look at it when your offensive line is doing the job that they're doing to the Seahawks. You see Terry Beeson cannot get into the game. Dan Neal has him out of the play. He finally makes the stop about 8 yards deep, and that's not where the middle linebacker is supposed to be.
There's still a lot of time to go, but this drive of the Bears is using up time also as they stay on the ground. Pitch. Payton scores. Walter Payton goes over.
And they have broken the 20-point mark for the first time this year.
For Walter Payton. The Bears are right back in it. 7:33 to play. What a grinding drive that was.
You really have to win at the line of scrimmage to make a drive without throwing a forward pass for 64 yards and a touchdown. That's some kind of drive.
10 plays, John. Look at Peyton. 71 yards for Walter. And they go astray. Well, that leaves them with 22 points. Got messed up on the extra point. Bashnagel. They can still win it if they hold Seattle scoreless with a touchdown and an extra point. So with a timeout, the score is Seattle 28, Chicago 22.
Want to drop your car off fast?
Nobody does it better. Hertz leads the others by far.
Use Hertz Express Car Return. You'll find it everywhere. And at busier airports, Hertz people can meet you right at your car to help you return it even faster.
I don't have to go to the counter?
Just catch your plane.
So rent a Fairmont, LTD, or other fine car fast from Hertz.
Hertz, the superstar.
Zonk, if you want a date, get in shape.
Shape? I'm solid steel.
Chic shape, Zonk. Chic shape.
Get clean, get close, get comfort too. Get your face in chic shape.
Click in Chic Super 2, the only twin blades Teflon coated for incredibly comfortable close shaves.
Great shape, Zonk.
That's chic shape.
That's Super 2.
Next Sunday, exciting regional coverage of the best of the NFL. Telecasts include the Broncos versus the Browns and the Oilers against the Patriots. Check local listings for the game in your area.
NBC Sports.
28-22. Here's an attempt at the extra point. However, you know it wasn't a fake kick. The ball was centered so high that Bashnagel had no chance to get it back down in time. And there's always an option where you say, hey, if I do get up and I do have a little time, I'll throw the end man a pass. Never did get quite that much time.
The kickoff by Bob Thomas. Stripping it down. Picked up on the 17 by Rufus Crawford. Crawford brings him out. Flag is down after he went out of bounds. Look at this score. Third quarter, Oakland, Kansas City, 7-3. Stenerud just kicked a field goal. Kansas City is losing, John, but they're playing everybody tough lately.
They're a tough group. They haven't seemed to have been able to put it over the hump.
This one being marked off against the Chicago Bears. Maybe a face mask.
Personal foul, face mask.
What it is, it's right on the 50-yard line.
All right, let's watch Winford Gaines.
Oh.
It looks like he has him by the neck. However, when that head turns around, you know he's got the mask.
Seattle trying to protect this. Gaines is the man that committed the face mask. Seattle trying to protect a 6-point lead. They have the ball on the 50-yard line. 28-22 Seattle. Zorn. Everybody chasing him. Throws on the run. He's got Largent open, and Largent's out of bounds for a first down on the 31-yard line.
And Gary Campbell was chasing Jim Zorn from time one. Zorn just got it off in time. They've got another first down, and look at this. Final, Pittsburgh had all they could handle from New Orleans, but they did come out on top 20-14.
So the Steelers are 9-1 for the year, running away with their division. First down, that was a 19-yard pass. Largent has caught 5 for 116 yards. Anytime a receiver goes over 100 yards, that's a big day for him, just like a runner going over 100 yards. Jerm Smith, not much. He's pulled down on the 29-yard line by Jim Osborne. Smith is the leading ball carrier in this game. He has 149 yards, 67 on one pickup.
Jim Osborne's been seen on a lot of tackles today. He's having an outstanding game.
Second down, 8 to go, 6:50 to play in the game. Seattle wants to keep moving it, pick up some first down. They like to take it in. Another final, the Eagles upset Green Bay 10-3, and the Chicago fans will love that one. As this Central Division is bunching up, Zorn out to the sideline, right on there to Largent again. That's quite a battery, these two youngsters, Zorn to Largent.
That's It's a heads-up receiver, Kurt. He knows that they want to run as much of the clock off as they possibly can. He catches the ball, straddles the sideline. When he does so, is enough in control of himself to say, whoops, let's see if I can't get back inside and pick up the first down. And he does so with a fine play.
6 catches for Steve Largent, 42 on the year. He's averaged 17 yards a catch. Uh-oh, Buffalo. Ferguson to Chandler, 11. Buffalo challenging New England, 14-10, a minute 47 to play in that game. Smith hit at the 18-yard line. Number 82, Alan Page on the tackle. Mike Hartenstein was in there with him. All those scores, details coming up on the Sperry NFL Report.
We've got just a little more than 5.5 minutes to go, and Efren Herrera knows what his duty is. A field goal would put them more than 7 ahead, and I don't think Seattle will take any unnecessary chances down here.
They're in a slot left formation. 2nd down 8. Zorn, sideline, no good. Out there, trying to grab it with Steve Rabel. Well, that stops the clock with 5:15 to play. Zorn, 200 yards. As we told you, Seattle leads the league in passing, 209 yards a game. They have 208 today. They're going right along at their seasonal average. Dallas is the only other club to go over 200 yards a game passing. Now McCullum has checked in. And Zorn is calling for a timeout.
I think they've got 4 wide receivers in, and Jim just wants to get the play straight.
We'll be back here. Seattle trying to hang on to this lead. The Bears trying to rally with a score 28-22, Seattle.
Here's the new Pennzoil that saves gasoline. And Kenny Stabler, quarterback of the Oakland Raiders. New Pennzoil PZL. The Pennzoil that saves gasoline.
That's right. You know the Pennzoil in this can? It really does help you go farther on a gallon of gasoline. And it saves you oil changes, too. They call it Pennzoil PZL. I call it a winner.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans present An American Tragedy. Nothing is so useful as the car, but many Americans misuse it. Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans are working to hold the cost of health care down. So stay fit. Walk when you don't need to drive. Together, we can keep the cost of health care from being driven even higher.
And lost by Green Bay. They're 7-3. Minnesota was 5-4 going into today's game. And they were ahead of the Lions. They could be 6-4. Tampa Bay 5-5. Chicago 3-6. Green Bay losing. More and more important for Chicago to rally here. Largent in motion. 3rd down play. Zorn jumps and throws, and he just missed his receiver, who was in the end zone and slipped and fell. That's Steve Rabel, number 83. He was there open, and he slipped and went down on his back.
He had a very tough play to make, Kurt. It would have been a great catch had he made it. He actually crawled a couple steps just to get his hands on the ball. He was down when Zorn threw it. Zorn was looking everywhere for any sort of help. He sees Ferguson was covered. He comes back. Rabel almost makes a great catch.
A 34-yard field goal attempt by Efren Herrera. He's hit 2 out of 4 between the 30 and 39-yard line this year. This could really help the Seahawks. It is up, and the kick is good. A very important field goal for Seattle because their lead now is 9 points. There it is. They have a 31-22 lead.
The way this ball game's going, however, it is still in the hat. Chicago has shown me some offense after about 28 minutes of this ball game. These last 30 have been very exciting and well played offensively by Chicago. And I think it's the sort of thing they can expect every week from these guys because they can solid get it, and they have some people that can.
Well, that makes the job more difficult for the Bears. If they could have stopped Seattle, the last time they had the ball, they swept right down the field. 64 yards with a crunching ground game and scored. Walter Payton going over. Now, as Testerman, who's been injured, hasn't played today. Sims is out, another running back. He didn't even make the trip. And it's been heavy-duty work by Sherm Smith for the Seahawks, helped by Al Hunter. 5 minutes and 6 seconds to go. There's the final. Minnesota now is only one game in back of Green Bay. Minnesota beating the Lions 17-7. The Vikings have come back. Big win against Dallas. Now Dallas pushed them along. The high kick. Vashnagel gives way to John Skabinski.
He just does get down.
Louis Bullard made the tackle on the kickoff for Seattle. Another final. New England hangs on, beats Buffalo 14-10. 7th win in a row for the Patriots. Sperry NFL report will have all the details. 32-yard line of Chicago. Bears ball. Can they rally? Just under 5 to go. If they don't, they have lost 7 in a row. Their longest losing streak, I think, since '68. Phipps, 9 out of 14 in the second half. Throwing against the wind. A rollout. Harper has it at the 40. First down at the 45. Out of bounds. He wanted to get out of bounds.
And that's just staying alert if you're a Mike Phipps. Oh, the whole play was designed to go to the left side. Harper was just left alone. Phipps came back to him at the last possible second. He was very badly rushed. Threw the ball perfectly.
16-yard gain.
He just kind of instinctively came off to him, saw him, and hit him.
Harper can really come out of that backfield and catch the ball.
He can help you.
He has caught 3 today for 46 yards. Check that. 5 for 69 yards. Well, Barry Phipps. 77 Bill Gregory, who had 3 sacks against Denver last Sunday, was in there. Down on the ground is Ernie Price. Seems to be injured. He's all right. He's up.
He gets pretty active back there by the quarterback when the defensive linemen get a good surge.
Remember, NBC will have a wild card playoff game in December. Then 2 more playoffs deciding who plays for the championship January 7th. All be capped off by the Super Bowl on January 21st at NBC and the Rose Bowl on January 1st. We're here in Soldier Field, Chicago, as people are joining us along the network. Seattle leading Chicago 31-22. We have 4 minutes, 19 seconds to play. This is Kurt Gowdy and John Brody. Bob Avellini played. There's the youngster who has been brilliant again for Seattle, Jim Zorn, taking his team to 31 points today, throwing 2 touchdown passes. Mike Phipps came into the second half and replaced that man, Bob Avellini, who had 6 out of 15 in the first half. The Bears have a 3rd down. Long yardage. Phipps fires it out. Intercepted by Seattle. That's Cornell Webster with it. Trying to pick up a block. 45. Hit by Walter Payton, number 34.
You see Sam McCollum raising his fist. Thank you, boys, for getting us the ball back. However, here's Jim Scott going underneath Keith Simpson. It's a 5-man defensive backfield. He runs it. It's a corner, a deep corner. Cornell Webster is waiting right at the break point. As he does so, Phipps can't keep everybody in his vision. He picks the ball off. Good defensive play. Walter Payton finishes it off.
Seattle on the Chicago 43-yard line, a 1st down. There's the interception again. We're ready for action here, though. 4 minutes to play. Tony Benjamin made that carry. just joined us, it's on the Chicago 37-yard line. Seattle leading 31-22. 3 minutes and 39 seconds remaining. Mike Phipps, number 15, just threw an interception. Jim Zorn has not done much wrong today. That's Sherm Smith, the leading ball carrier in the game, with around 150 yards, tackled by Alan Page, who's played a standout game, a 12-year veteran who in 1971 became the first defensive player in the history of the NFL to be selected as the most valuable player in the league.
And he was. Having had an opportunity to play against him a few times, you just had to keep your attention on, on that man or you were in for trouble.
3 minutes to go and a 9-point lead for the Seattle Seahawks, who, if they hold on, will be 5-5 on the year. They won 5 all last season. They're going to win some more. Al Hunter fell down before he could get going. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
You're watching the Seahawks on KING TV, Seattle.
Let's take a look at Alan Page.
He used to be 88, now he's 82. I don't think the number on your back means a whole lot. They know who you are, and they're trying to handle him with 2 people. Didn't quite work out that way. He got in on the play.
Seattle led at the half, 14-6. Led at the third quarter, 28-16. They're leading now 31-22. 2 minutes, 17 seconds to go. It was a wild third quarter, 24 points scored. The Bears have had 3 field goals and a touchdown by Walter Payton and a touchdown by Harper and a pass. Largent has caught 2 touchdown passes today from Jim Zorn, and they're forming quite a battery up there in the Pacific Northwest. 2 third-year players who are rapidly becoming famous around the National Football League. That's their coach, Jack Patera. We want to thank Terry Kane, by the way, and Gil Haggard for their aid up here in the booth today.
Jack Patera, we were talking last night, and he said, you know, the toughest adjustment I had to make as a head coach is that on game day, I didn't know what to do on the sidelines. He said it didn't do me any good to bring a prop out. I wasn't going to use it. He said, being an assistant, you prepare for your area so much that during the game, you never get a chance to see it from an overall view. He said, now as a head coach, I get a chance to see anything that might develop. I really don't know what area I'm going to get after, but something always comes up.
You know, John, the Seahawks, in their first year of operation, look like they drafted for defense. And what they've come up with is one of the best offensive teams in the National Football League.
You bet when you find a guy like Zorn, you've got to find Sherman Smith and Zorn and a good offensive line, and we're going to score some points.
You got to be lucky. Zorn wasn't even drafted, and now he's rapidly becoming a star. A high pass out to Sam McCullough, sailed over his head. Officially, Sherm Smith today has 23 carries for 152 yards. John Brody talked about Smith before the game. We've seen him 2 weeks in a row now, and we're impressed with him.
You've got to be if you're watching the game.
The Bears hold, take over on their own 37. They have 2 minutes and 13 seconds to pull this one out, or they're going to lose their 7th game in a row. They send Golden Richards to the right and James Scott to the left. Funny thing in this losing streak, the Bears have been in every game. Here's a draw play. Walter Payton doing some stuttering running. Oh! That is running.
You know, this baby is far from over. I've seen a lot of teams score 10 points in 2 minutes. We're just getting down to the 2-minute warning. They've got it in Seattle's territory and just takes a touchdown and a field goal.
Payton now has 89 yards. He had only 24 in the first half. Number 34, a timeout has been called by the Bears.
You get a good hold at the point of attack, and Walter Payton will do the rest for you. Good offensive line blocking all day by Chicago's offensive group. And Walter Payton's had a good day running the ball.
The Bears called a timeout with 2 seconds to go to the 2-minute warning.
Well, I don't really think that hurts you. You have to take it sometime. They feel they can get another play in before the 2-minute warning. They're going to still have to, they're going to get a timeout for the 2-minute warning. When you take it is really irrelevant. The fact is the clock was bearing down. They might have been able to take it 5 or 6 seconds sooner if they were going to choose to do so. But you can only use it once.
And remember, if you joined us, they're going against a strong wind. The wind has been a definite factor in this game. 2 minutes, 2 seconds to go. 31-22, Seattle ahead. Denver's playing the Jets today in Denver. That'll be a 4 o'clock Eastern start, 3 o'clock Central start. Mike Phipps down the middle of Scott. Scott wrapped up by Harris, the safety man, number 44. First down in Seattle territory now inside the 30. The 2-minute warning. 1 minute, 53 seconds to go. We'll be back with the final 1 minute, 53 seconds of this game right after this message.
From the Cape to the Gulf, they know how to cook up a good time.
Beer makes it good. There's no debate.
We're a gumbo eating contest. Beer makes it good. I'm telling you. Schlitz makes it great.
11 million times a day, America reaches for a Schlitz.
Since 1849.
For #1 in vans and wagons come the 1979s, like Dodge Maxi Wagon, the roomiest wagon you can buy. Like Sportsman Wagon, the wagon you can turn into a home away from home. Like Street Van, the van that's as fun as it is tough. Like some of the most maneuverable, versatile, best-selling vans in America. Is it any wonder when you ask about vans, you hear about Dodge?
Dodge is into trucking, like America's into Jeep. Hey, that's my side.
Kurt Gowdy, John Brody, windy, and now overcast Soldier Field. 1:53 remaining. The Bears have the ball on the Seattle 26-yard line. There's the score, a 9-point lead. Herrera kicked the field goal with 5 minutes to play, and that's looming up now as a biggie. First time this year that the Bears have gone over 21 points in a game. They may get more. Phipps complete to Robin Earl. Earl's in bounds when they wrapped him up, and the crowd roaring. They keep the clock moving. A minute 39, a minute 38. It's on the 24-yard line.
Here we go. They're getting ready to go from the line of scrimmage again as we see Earl being stopped with a 1-yard gain. As Payton breaks.
Walter Payton has a first down, and the Bears in a quick huddle. Clock moving, a minute 15. It's on the 13-yard line of Seattle. First down, Chicago, trailing by 9. Out they go. Phipps, incomplete. Intended for Golden Richards, number 83.
I think they're going to have to throw that ball to the inside because every time they go outside, one of those defenders is waiting to pick it off. We saw Cornell Webster pick one off a while ago. Autry Beeman almost picked that one off. And Dave Brown already has one to his credit.
Second down, 10, a minute 5 remaining. O.J. Simpson, here's a report out of the game with the Atlanta Ball Club with a separated shoulder, O.J. Walter Payton has 102 yards on the ground. 4th time this season he's rushed for 100. And he's on his way to repeating as the rushing champ of the National Football Conference. Last year, the entire National Football League. Phipps, Quickie, Harper, down on the 9-yard line. Once again, the Bears trying to get a quick huddle. NFL report coming up right after this game. Third down, 5. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Walter Payton at the 5. And he is hit along the 2 or 3 yard line. The clock moving. Now it's stopped.
Plenty of time, Kurt. Takes about 2 seconds to score a touchdown. That would give them still 38 left. Onside kick and give them a chance to get in field goal position. And I've seen a lot stranger things happen.
The Bears have called a timeout. They have one left. They're on the 2-yard line with 1st and goal to go. They are moving that ball on the ground. They went 64 yards in the 4th quarter, going 6, 7, 8 yards a crack with Harper and Payton. And now they're right back again, but that field goal by Herrera right now looks like it's going to be the difference.
And Mike Phipps has had an outstanding second half. It's very difficult if you haven't played for 9 games to come into a football game for the first time and really execute well. He's thrown a couple balls that he'd like to have back, but on the whole, he has done an outstanding job, and I'm sure he's earned a chance to have another go at it next week.
He replaced Avellini in the second half. Avellini played the first half. Phipps, formerly the Cleveland Browns, came in here without being used in any one play this year. Seattle now have that big ball club in there for the goal line defense, and what a goal line defense they put on against Denver in overtime last week. 1st and goal for the Bears. .40 seconds remaining. Touchdown! Harper scores.
And Roland Harper made a very big play because seconds are of the essence right now. He gained those 2 all on his own.
That makes it 31-28.
And you see the flags being dropped for intimidating. Lionel Anquine took the ball, threw it at the feet of a defensive linebacker. Trying to be cute, he may have cost himself a real good chance to win the ball game.
Oh, he's getting a kick out of John Brody. He was a quarterback under the gun for over 15 years. Pulled a lot of them out in the last few seconds. And to him, 40 seconds are an eternity.
It's a long time if you keep your timeouts and you get a hold of the ball. But they're going to have to probably take a 15-yard penalty when they kick it off. So even if they get an onside kick and they get the ball, I doubt they'll have enough time to get in field goal range. That 15 yards could be big.
I love your positive thinking. There's the kick up. And the kick is good. That makes it 31-29. Now the Bears have scored 23 points in the second half. But every time they've scored, the Seattle club has come back. And now, let's see what the Bears do on the kickoff. 35 seconds to go. They storm right back down the field again with that ground game. Walter Payton has had a sensational second half. He now has 111 yards, 24 in the first half. And they're being penalized 15 yards for unsportsmanlike conduct, and that's going to hurt them because instead of kicking off from the 35, they boot it from the 20, and they're booting it against the wind.
They have no bargain if they get the ball in their own 30. It would take them 3 plays to get it down inside field goal range against a strong wind, because they'd have to get it inside the 20 to have any chance at all for a field goal. And it just kind of changes the whole flow of the game. All of a sudden they have a chance. Now I don't see that they do.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Seattle Seahawks spread out along the 30-yard line. There's Antoine, who torpedoed that ball down in the end zone, spiked it.
You can bet Neil Armstrong's talking to him about it. It isn't too funny if you're sitting on a team that's lost 6 in a row.
That's Armstrong, the head coach, with a cap on. The Seahawks have their nimblest men in there with quick feet, good hands. They have receivers in there, wide receivers who can hold on to the ball and can move quickly. The onside kick. Good scramble for it. The Bears have it.
Okay, they've got it. Now they've got to do something with it.
John Skabinski recovered at number 30 for the Bears. They still have hope. 33 seconds remaining. They'd recovered that onside kick. of 10 yards that had been up around the midfield. And one pass in a field goal range, and they might have pulled it out.
Okay, look, they're sending the whole horde down there. They try to come up with the ball before it goes 10 yards. They miss it. Pensick almost gets it. Winford Gaines, I think, ends up with the ball, and they've got it in pretty good shape.
A lot of folks that started to the exits are coming back in again. 31-29, Seattle. Well, we've had some real games here in Soldier Field. Phipps, flag is down. Handoff. Like a draw to Payton. Dennis Boyd stopped him. Flags were thrown. Maybe an illegal procedure against the Bears.
Looked like the left side of the offensive line got a little antsy.
Seattle last week lost in overtime with a 12th man on the field. Illegal procedure, they accepted. It goes back to the 26. Turner missed that field goal. Seattle had 12 men in the field, a short field goal attempt. Turner got another chance and made it. Denver won the game in overtime. First down and 15. 31 seconds to go. 31-29 Seattle. Deep pass. It is complete and out of bounds. The clock stopped. James Scott caught the ball. Autry Beeman knocked him out of bounds.
Very well thrown pattern by Phipps. His offensive line's given him plenty of time to do the job. He's got it out just short of midfield. What do you think 15 more yards on top of that would put him right now?
A very costly penalty on Antoine. It'll be spotted on the Bears' 48. That was a 22-yard pass. There's the time. 25 seconds to go. 31-29 Seattle. Thomas is the field goal kicker. He's missed only one all year. The wind has died down a little bit, too. Now Phipps will try and get one more. Get him in field goal range. Out to Scott. Incomplete. Beeman over there to cover Scott, but the ball has sailed out of bounds.
Still got plenty of time. He can get off 4 or 5 more plays, and he's still got a timeout. So all they have to do is get one down there about 30 yards.
The art of positive thinking.
Well, they've already scored 60 points, so it's not like beyond reality.
19 seconds remaining. The way a quarterback's got to think. Second down, 10. As Mike Phipps brings them up. He got a good second half. Look at that, 171 yards.
And he's thrown in tough situations, and this is as tough as there is.
Payton has it. Payton up the sideline, out of bounds. In the territory of Seattle. On the Seattle 46, Cornell Webster drove him out. 12 seconds to go.
He's got time for 2 plays. He's got to get the ball as hard as the wind is blowing down inside the 25-yard line for Thomas to have any chance to kick a field goal. I personally think it has to be inside the 20-yard line for him to really have a good chance at it.
The wind, John, though, is not quite as strong. It's died down about 10 miles an hour. Might be 5, 8 mile an hour wind. Third down. 5. And that one is intercepted by Seattle. Cornell Webster, his second interception of the game. Running around with the ball.
Dead yet.
Look at the clock.
He better get down.
3 seconds. He's still running around.
Now this is what you call a weird ending, pal. They finally get him.
That's it. The game is over. Webster intercepted, ran all over the field, killed the last 10 seconds of the game, and Seattle wins it on Cornell Webster's last interception, the second in the second half. He was watching the clock, very smart, running around with the ball, and finally down in the watch it.
I had the feeling he might end up in his own end zone, and we were going to end up with a tie ball game. With a 2-point lead, he starts fiddling around back there. If I'm a coach, I'm not going to feel quite as certain. However, he made a great play to get to intercept the ball. That's about the only place that Phipps could throw it. Cornell Webster came up with his second one, and as we watch
him look at the clock, John. He'll look up here in a minute.
And you can see the...
Now, see, look at the clock. Okay.
You better look out. He's going to get nailed.
Around he goes. He goes all the way to the other side of the field, watching the clock. Wants to be sure he doesn't get in the end zone. There is the final. Seattle 31, Chicago 29. Kurt Gowdy and John Brody, hope you've enjoyed it. The executive producer of NBC's NFL football is Don Omeyer. The telecast of today's game has been produced by George Finkel and Ted Nathanson. Directed by Ted Nathanson. Technical director, Bruce Berquist. Associate director, Sam Kirschman. Next Sunday, it's NFL football on NBC starting at 12:30 with NFL Report. Featuring leading scorer in pro football history, woman pro halfback Linda Jefferson. And also what would happen if the NFL went metric. Followed by exciting NFL action. Check your local listings. Now, stay tuned for the Sperry NFL Report following these messages from your local stations.
Walter Brennan stars in the hilarious conclusion of Walt Disney's The Gnome-Mobile.
Oh, pizza. Bravissimo. Western Airlines, the only way to fly.
When you traveled in my day, you had 3 ways to pay for your expenses. Gold, sight drafts, or paper currency, none of which is particularly convenient or safe. But today, you folks can get master charge of Visa from Seattle First, the first bank in the state to offer both cards. And they're safer than cash, more acceptable than checks, but good as gold all over the world.
For something new in banking, look for it first at Seattle First.
The right flavors can make ordinary food great. Hi, I'm Bob Robertson to tell you about Crescent Foods. You see, Crescent makes the products that flavor other foods and make them great. Now, who cooks with Crescent? The finest hotels and restaurants, like Klinkerdagger, the Space Needle, and in Portland, Ryan's Fish and Ale House. Now, folks like that depend on Crescent. You can, too. Crescent is the word for flavor.
You're watching KING TV, Seattle.
Following an onside kick, there's 12 seconds left. Mike Phipps is driving the Bears to what he hopes will be a game-winning field goal, but instead, as he looks to the near sideline for Golden Richards, Cornell Webster leaps in front, intercepts it, and the Seattle Seahawks come down with the victory thanks to that interception and a very stupid penalty by Mr. Lionel Antoine. Hello, everybody. I'm Bryant Gumbel. Mike Adamley is in our Highlight Center, and this is the Sperry NFL Report, brought to you by Sperry Rand Corporation, whose commitment to the future is making machines do more so man can do more. Week number 10, we're well along into it, and we've got a lot of scores and highlights to talk to you and to show you, but we've got a game going on in Houston right now between the Cleveland Browns and the Houston Oilers, and the Browns in a grudge match are out in front of the Oilers 10-7 in the third period. Let's go on down to the Astrodome right now live and join Jim Simpson and Paul Warfield.
Welcome to those just joining us. There's Pastorini going to Rob Carpenter. Carpenter's across the 40-yard line and out near the 44-yard line. It'll still be third down and long to go as they've lost a lot of ground. The score is 10-7. The Browns lead. We've got 1 minute, 15 seconds to go in the third quarter. Browns led at the end of the first half 7-0. A 72-yard bomb to Mike Barker tied it. And then a fumble recovery set up the 40-yard field goal by Don Cockcroft, and it's 10-7 Cleveland. This is a must-ball game for both teams. They're both 5-4. Houston won the earlier game in the last 19 seconds on a field goal, and it looks like we have got the same kind of game today. Now it is third down and 15 to go for the Oilers, trailing 10-7. 2 wide receivers left, 1 to the right, no tight end in the ball game. Pastorini gets the ball across the middle. That is Rob Carpenter. Carpenter will not get the first down at midfield. It'll be 4th down and 9 or 10 yards to go. And for the 13th time today, they'll have to kick the ball away.
Well, here's another look at the play. Pastorini looking downfield. Drops the ball underneath the coverage to Carpenter. He makes a couple of nifty moves, but the Browns have a lot of white shirts around him. And they finally bring him down. A long way from the first down, at least about another 9, almost 10 yards. And so Houston is going to have to punt the ball again to the Cleveland Browns.
This is the 13th punt of the game. Cliff Foster will kick it away to Keith Wright. It is 10-7 Cleveland. And now let's go back to New York.
Okay, thank you, Jim Simpson. We have a lot more scores and highlights to tell you about of Week 10. NFL 78 will continue after this word from Sperry.
50 years ago, you could always tell a truck driver by his arms. Steering depended entirely on muscle power. Then, pioneers like Sperry Vickers applied hydraulics to the problem of steering heavy trucks. And suddenly men could build bigger trucks than ever before. The Terex Titan, world's largest truck, over 60 feet long. Fully loaded, it weighs over 1 million pounds. Because of Sperry Vickers hydraulics, you can steer the Titan almost as easily as the family car. The Titan carries iron ore for Kaiser Steel Corporation, 350 tons at a time, 30 times as much as the giants of yesterday. Now, in 1,000 different industries, fluid power from Sperry Vickers is making man more productive than he dreamed possible 50 years ago. Another example of Sperry Rand Corporation's commitment to the future. Sperry, making machines do more so man can do more.
For most of this day, the New Orleans Saints were in the process of pulling off the biggest surprise of the day at Three Rivers Stadium, but eventually the Pittsburgh Steelers, as you can see, prevailed by a 20-14 count. It's a big day for Franco Harris. He went over the 7,000-yard mark career rushing in his 7th season. Both quarterbacks had a good day. Bradshaw threw for 200 yards and 2 scores. Archie Manning threw for 1 score, but 344 yards as he completed 22 of 32. Green Bay against Philadelphia. David Whitehurst threw 3 interceptions, and the Packers went down to their 3rd defeat by a 10-3 score. The Eagles are now a 500 ball club. John Shara had the day's only touchdown on a 3-yard run. New England against Buffalo, the Patriots, winners 14-10, their 7th straight win. Bad day for Steve Grogan, just 5 for 17, but a great day for Horace Ivory, 16 carries, 128 yards, and 2 scores. And Mike Adamle, I think it is a measure of just how strong the Patriots are, that on a day when they're really not playing well, they still manage to win.
Great minds think alike, I guess, Brian. Those were my words exactly. Actually, the Patriots got off a little bit slow, but there was a reason for it. Last week they beat the Jets 55-21. I think that was the reason. The Bills were on top at this point when Joe Ferguson went to the airwaves and found Steve Nelson, number 57, instead. And Nelson has had himself an outstanding season. He's on his way to the Pro Bowl with plays like this. It set up a touchdown by super sub Horace Ivory, 19 yards out. And if Mr. Ivory continues to play this way, well, he will be a super sub no longer, but a starter. That put the Patriots on top 7-3 when Mr. Ivory got the ball again. From 5 yards out, he scored to make it 14-3. A touchdown pass from Ferguson to Bob Chandler made it 14-10.
Okay, Mike. The Minnesota Vikings are now 6-4, and the Lions are 3-7 after a 17-7 final. Fran Tarkenton, 18 for 27, 198 yards, and 1 touchdown pass, and he lost 3 teeth in the process today. The Cardinals, winners for the 2nd time, they beat the Giants 20-10 as Jim Hart threw for 217 yards. Bud Wilkinson's team finally getting it together. The San Francisco 49ers changed coaches, but the results are very much the same. They went down to a 1-9 count today under Fred O'Connor, final 21-10. O.J. Simpson separated his shoulder in that ball game. And Seattle, Chicago, the final was 31-29. Both teams forgot their defense. Mike, what can you say about a game that was that close?
The real story, I guess, is for the first time this season, the Bears replaced Bob Avellini. They put Mike Phipps in the game, and he got the Bears back in the ballgame, but he threw 3 interceptions, and it hurt him. The real story, nobody really stopped Zorn. He does it all. He's passed for over 2,000 yards this season, and he runs extremely well here. This run goes all the way down to the 4-yard line and set up Seattle's first touchdown. Here it is, number 47, Sherman Smith, plunges into the end zone from 1 yard out. That put the Seahawks on top 7-0. A Bob Thomas field goal made it 7-3 when later on in the first quarter, Zorn goes back to pass, finds Steve Largent all alone in the end zone. That's the kind of day Zorn, he really riddled the Bears defense. They're having problems.
Push their record to 6-4. Mike Adamle, in your opinion, sir, what is wrong with Stabler?
Mr. Stabler has been a real mystery, and I can't figure it out. You know, Kansas City has really impressed me. I think before the season's out, they're going to really gel. Their defense has been played extremely well, and Stabler was intercepted 3 times, just like you said. Here was number 1. Timmy Collier, number 44, picked it off. Art Still, number 67, the big number 1 draft choice, registers a sack on Stabler. He's going to be very tough. And here Stabler throws interception number 22 of the season again. Mr. Tim Collier, the culprit. Mike Livingston got the Chiefs back on the board, but Stabler's been very good after those 3 interceptions. Houston, Cleveland, big game for both teams because they're both 5-4, and they want to keep pace with the Steelers, who are now 9-1. It was a defensive struggle all day long until Brian Sight goes back to pass here in the second quarter, and Ozzie Newsome, 82, who's on his way to become a great NFL player, makes the reception all the way down to the 1-yard line, and finally Brian Sight carried it in on a first and goal situation. Brian rolls to his left and scores to make it 7-0. Mike Barber came back and kicked caught a 72-yard touchdown pass from Dan Pastorini, and then Don Cockcroft kicked the field goal to put the Browns out on top 10-7. That's the way it stands right now.
Okay, Mike. Dallas, Miami, perhaps the biggest question going on right now is what has happened to the Cowboys? They are trailing in this ball game against the Miami Dolphins. Well, that's the St. Steelers. But the Miami Dolphins are out in front of the Dallas Cowboys 14-0 in the first period. Boulash, a 3-yard run. Del Williams, a 1-yard run. And Tom Landry must be scratching his head. Maybe that's a problem with me. Denver and the Jets right now. The Broncos out in front 14-0. This one also in the first period. John Keyworth, a 5-yard run, and Bill Thompson picked up a Kevin Long fumble and returned it 10 yards for a touchdown. Tampa Bay, Los Angeles, the Rams coming off of 2 straight losses, trying to get it together against the Buccaneers. It's 3-0 in the first period. Frank Corrales kicked a 29-yard field goal. And the San Diego Chargers are out in front of the Bengals 3-0 on a Ralph Berners 26-yard field goal in the first period. Very briefly again, here are our finals for you in case you missed us at the top. Pittsburgh beat the New Orleans Saints by a score of 20-14. It was the Eagles over the Green Bay Packers. The final there was 10-3. New England beat Buffalo. Final 14-10 for the Pats. Their 7th straight. Minnesota 7, Detroit 7. Minnesota 17, Detroit 7. Fran Tarkenton lost 3 teeth, but he came out a winner. The Cardinals win for the second time, 20-10 over the Giants. The Falcons beat the 49ers 21-10. Fred O'Connor is 0-1. And Seattle pulls out a win over the Chicago Bears. The final there, 31-29. We'll have some final business that we'll clean up as we continue after